Good morning, Grizzlies. I'm Henry.
I'm Cody.
All right, so diving into a bit of national news, a landmark 9-0 Supreme Court decision was handed down last week ordering the Trump administration to facilitate the return of a United States citizen who was deported and sent to an El Salvadorian prison. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a Maryland resident and father of three, was arrested and deported without notice last month while on his way to work, despite a court order essentially saying that they couldn't deport him. It's important to note that Garcia, like an estimated 90% of people deported by the Trump administration, have committed no crime, according to a Bloomberg study. Returning to that Supreme Court decision, the conservative majority ruled against the administration, stating that they must return Garcia. However, Trump seems to believe the opposite. Trump believes that he is not required to return the illegally deported citizens, despite the court order from the highest court in all of the land saying that he has to. I'm going to make this clear to everyone. This is illegal. The highest court in all the land has demanded the return of this man, a man who committed no crime other than being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the Trump administration shrugged it off and refused. We're running out of track here, people. If the Supreme Court can't stop him with a full-force 9-0 court order, I'm genuinely not sure what guardrails are left to stop the administration from deporting whoever they want, whenever they want. Speaking of Trump doing what he wants, I'm not exactly certain what he wanted when he crashed the stock market, but he did it anyways. After declaring reciprocal tariffs on all nations the United States trades with, and a few that we don't, just about every stock on the market looked redder than a crop yield in beet season. In an environment where most companies trade in fractions of percents, seeing a nearly 10% decline across the board in one day, which the market is yet to recover from, is almost certainly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You're going to want to mark that on your calendar. However, 24 hours later, barely a day after putting the tariffs in place, the administration announced that they would delay the policy for another 90 days. While the markets have dodged the death knell from Liberation Day, traders, consumers, and the markets at large seem generally unwilling or at least uneasy to put their money back in such a volatile market. What Trump blinking in this instance means is that many people are entirely unsure about the state of the market going forward. Even in his crucial trade war with China, Trump has put tariffs on China and the European Union. The European Union and China respond. Trump removes tariffs on the EU and raises tariffs on China. China responds. Trump raises tariffs on China again. China responds. Trump asks for China to come to the White House and negotiate. China ignores him. Trump raises tariffs. China responds. Trump removes tariffs on electronics. China keeps all of their tariffs in place. Trump says he's considering placing tariffs on electronics back. Electronic stock plummet. China keeps their tariffs in place. The world keeps spinning. All this while U.S. stocks plummet and Chinese stocks soar. Granted, I'm no economist, but so far it seems that in our conflicts with China, Europe, Canada, Mexico, the only person who has conceded or surrendered anything was Donald Trump. Trump has stared into the void of world trade, and when it stared back, he blinked. And that blink might cost all of us a whole heck of a lot. Well, that's all I got for national news. Sending it over to worldwide with Cody.
Thank you, Henry. In world news, protests has been popping up all over the UK for women have been protesting for more equal rights. They're trying to get a bill to be passed from 2010 to give them more equal rights from men. In other news, the president of Ukraine has had a meeting with NATO for Ukraine to start to be put into NATO and for NATO to give them more weapons for their war with Russia. That's all for World. Off to sports.
Thank you, Cody. The NHL playoffs are underway as 16 teams look to procure the Stanley Cup. The Winnipeg Jets are the number one overall seed in the NHL, and the Capitals, being led by all-time scoring leader Alex Ovechkin. In the world of football, some tragic news occurred earlier this month. I'm going to send out a trigger warning that I'll be talking about suicide. On April 13th, LSU wide receiver Kyron Lacey was found dead with a self-inflicted gun wound after a family argument. Kenny Lacey, Kyron's dad, has gone on record talking about mental health, stating, "Don't be cool with I'm alright or I'm good when deep down you know something isn't right. Mental health is real, and for the most part, it's invisible. Don't ignore the signs, even if they may seem small." Kyron Lacey was only 24 years old and had a promising future in the NFL. In much happier news, Rory McIlroy finally got his career Grand Slam, meaning he won the 4 majors: the PGA Tour, the US Open, the Open, and last Sunday he won the Masters, finally getting his long-awaited green jacket. Rory beat Justin Rose in a sudden death playoff by just 1 stroke. Here at the Bear Claw, we're all really happy for Rory. Congrats to all the golfers who made the cut, but biggest congrats to McIlroy. All right, that's all I got. Sending it to Lily.
Thank you, Jesse. Well, in breaking news, is that a chicken jockey? No, it's just a Minecraft movie that has become a box office smash. With it releasing a few weeks ago on April 4th, this movie, while having a 47% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 6 out of 10 on IMDb, the movie has grossed over $500 million worldwide. While it may not be popular with the critics, it is popular in our hearts, showing that what really matters isn't the movies themselves, it's people like me and you that watch them and create the memories surrounding it. Well, in other news, Naughty Dog's popular game franchise turned HBO show The Last of Us returns with its 2nd season, with high reviews and a renewal for a 3rd season even before the 2nd's release. Now, new episodes come out every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, so we are crossing our fingers. This one will be a swing and a miss. And on our last piece of entertainment news, popular music festival Coachella happened over the past weekend with big headliners such as Charli XCX, Lady Gaga, and Benson Boone. The festival is supposedly a grand success with big influencers such as Kendall Jenner, Charli D'Amelio, and James Charles. But I'm confused because nobody really knew Coachella happened till it was already over. Just like this segment. So that's it for entertainment. Sending it over to the desk.
Wow. How about that Minecraft movie? You seen it yet?
Not yet, but I'm just hopefully to see it this weekend.
You know, Jack Black is so funny. You know, people are calling him a modern treasure, a treasure of our time. And speaking of modern, we have an interview covering the modern classroom environment with our very own Rylan Keith. Let's send it to that.
Thanks, Henry. So, starting off, can you just introduce yourself for people that don't know?
Absolutely. So, my name is Christine Walker, officially. I go by Frau. We got a lot of Christines at this school, and I'm a German teacher, so why not, right?
So, just to clear the bases, what exactly is the Modern Classroom Project?
So the Modern Classroom Project was a project that was put together by 2 men in Washington, D.C., who realized that they needed to support their students in different ways, with students who are absent a lot, students who are who want to move ahead of the class, students who need a lot of extra help, and students who have diverse learning needs. And so they thought, you know, how can we use all of these awesome technology tools that are coming out recently to help aid with that? And so, so it was created by teachers for teachers, and it's got 3 major pillars, is what we say. So 3 big beliefs, and that is, first of all, that the class should be self-paced. So what that means is, as you know, you come into my class and you could be on lesson 1, you could be on lesson 2, 3, or 4. And there are students who are in my class who are on any number of lessons, even maybe now, because of the fact that I created MCP in my whole program, they could even be in German 2 after they finish German 1, but they're in the same period. So they completely self-pace their learning. So if they need a little extra time, they can choose to not turn it in on a soft deadline, not turn a lesson in on a soft deadline, and take some extra time to really make sure that they understand what it is that they're learning. The second pillar is that the classroom is a blended learning environment. So I basically cloned myself. Not through science, I'm not that cool. But there is the Frau Show, what my students call the Frau Show, where I use internet tools to record my lessons in tiny little snippets, so that way they're not like super long lectures that you have to sit through and get really boring. It's just 2 super little small pieces of information that the kids need to understand. And I upload those to YouTube, so that way they can always watch me 24/7. And that allows me to do something so magical in the classroom. Like, I got into teaching because I love students, I love to teach. Like, even if it wasn't German, I just love to be in the classroom and interact with the students. I love making those relationships. Yeah. And so now, instead of being the teacher at the front of the classroom who lectures like Bueller, you know, right, from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I don't want to be like that. I want to be their mentor. And so I'm more hands-on with the students, and I can get to know them better and build those relationships so that way they trust me enough to allow me to teach them something that I'm passionate about, German. And then the third thing is that it's mastery based. And that is a really fancy way of saying you either mastered the skill or you haven't yet. And that's kind of cool too, because we don't focus on grades anymore. It's just, oh, I haven't gotten that skill yet. And so I just need to do this, this, and this, X, Y, Z to get that skill, instead of thinking, oh no, I got a 90, which doesn't really tell you exactly why you didn't get the 100%. And also a lot of kids with A's, they're like, oh, I'm done. I don't need to work anymore, right? And as you know, you're never done with German.
Never.
So there's always more you could learn, and that includes me too, so.
Yeah. And I mean, I have actually taken a class, yours of course, that has this, but for people that haven't taken the class that might run on this kind of environment, how is it better than the standard sort of classroom environment?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I believe it's so much better because I get to do something that's super magical to me, and that is I get to meet one-on-one with every single one of my students every single day. And I get to give them my personal time. And so what that looks like is they come in the classroom, they do a little warm-up, and I check in with them and I give them actionable feedback that they can use right away to fix their German to move on to the next level. And I also get to say, hey, how you doing? How's it going? You know, what are your highs? What are your lows? And what's amazing there is that while I'm having that conversation, because I've cloned myself, all the other students get to continue their working. So I don't need to like remind kids, oh, we're doing this right now, because they already know what to do. They've already got the whole plan and they just run with it. So it's pretty amazing because the students kind of run the classroom now. And they're like, hey, are we doing mastery checks today, Frau? And they get really excited to be successful. And that's so exciting when a student masters a check. I mean, you know, we go whoop whoop. Because when you get something, you want to celebrate. I remember doing really badly in math and thinking, oh my God, I finally got it. And I felt really excited and proud of myself, but you know, nobody really celebrated those things, and that was important to me. So we get to celebrate that achievement and that rise in skill, which has led to things like the Seal of Biliteracy and CLEP tests and people achieving college credit. So that's pretty neat, and I'm really proud of that. And the other reason I think it's better is because kids are gone sometimes, and it could be for whatever reason. And when they come back, they always feel like they're behind. But what's magical about MCP is that I can just catch them up with what they've got where they left off, or they can do that work at home because they've got me recorded. They can turn me on whenever they want to. Yeah. And so I love that I can support students who have extra needs.
Yeah. It's really cool that you get to create a lot more of a connection with the students, you know, being a one-on-one with them.
Yeah.
Are there any improvements that you can call back to that have happened ever since you switched?
Oh my gosh, yes. Even though there were a lot of technology tools when this started, MCP is still constantly evolving. And as a person who works for MCP as an expert mentor, they're always showing us these new tools. And so like the trackers of how I show you guys where you're on pace, so that way you can see who to work with in the class, that tool has been updated. A lot of the recording has gotten better. AI has made it possible for me to get kids' feedback quicker. And all those tools are totally revolutionizing the classroom. And so I'm really excited to see education become what I always dreamed it could be, instead of just like, you know, straight chairs in the classroom and, you know, the sit and get. So, because when the kids are using the German, that's when it's magical, as you know, right? Because when you use it, you actually have it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And how can teachers begin to incorporate this in their own classrooms?
Yeah, it definitely was front load heavy, but I did a lot more work than I should have in the beginning because I was new and I was really excited. You know, when you're excited to do something, you get really into it. And so what I would suggest is, number one, teachers who are interested in doing this should look up MCP online and type in WESD, which stands for Willamette Education Service District, because Willamette Education Service District will pay for them to do the class and also give the teachers a $500 stipend when they finish the class. And when they finish the class, they will actually have built a unit that they can actually use in the classroom. So that professional development is really, really helpful for the teacher and actually useful, you know?
Yeah.
And so, if they ever want to get to know more, they can always contact me, either by email or come visit my classroom anytime. I love it when people visit my classroom and see all the really cool things that kids are doing. So, very proud of my students.
Well, thank you so much for talking about it. Is
Thank
there any
you.
other closing words you have for anyone listening?
No, if you really, really like what you're hearing, encourage your teachers to try out MCP.
Wonderfully said. All right, well, again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And yeah, back to the desk.
You know, I really think that's something that'll prove helpful. You know, I think
Yeah.
school needs to learn to adapt to our modern environment, and I think trying to stay in the past is only gonna, it's gonna hurt people. So I think we need to, adapt, change.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's one of the power acts. I'm pretty sure that's the A, adapt. All right, well, speaking of adapting, you guys are gonna have to adapt to another week of us not being here because we are done. All right, so without another word, I'm Henry,
I'm Cody.
and this was Bear Claw Broadcast. That's another word.